Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, as we come back to you live from the Johannesburg Expo Center, the 55th National ANC Conference that is taking place, and things obviously are really on the move at this point in time. And early on, we heard the announcement the commissions are going to be deliberating, and also with regard to the voting. And an absolute honor for us to welcome to our makeshift studios Dr. Naledi Pandor, the Minister of International Relations. Dr. Naledi, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And as I mentioned, an absolute pleasure. We're honored to actually having you here with us.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here.
Yes, just looking at the conference and we can hear the vibes, we can hear the excitement. There's just so much that is starting to happen right now. It was a bit of a slow start, there was a bit of a delayed start, but things are on the move right now.
Indeed, I hear that the first day was very rambunctious. I was in Washington at the US Africa Summit, so I missed the first part. And by the time I joined the conference, they had begun to discuss the substantive reports. That has gone well. I think there have been some disruptions now and again. I have the view that there's a new membership in the ANC, younger, less used to the mode of conduct. And we have robust debates, but we do so in a very gentlemanly fashion because we've always had the culture of exchanging rich opinions which may differ widely.
Yes, and certainly, those differing opinions are to be respected as well. But, just looking at how critical or how crucial is this conference for the ANC?
Well, brother, I can share with you that the whole world is watching. Um, Everybody who attended the US Africa Summit was asking me, what's happening with the ANC conference? What's President Mandela, President Ramaphosa thinking? How is he? Is everything going to go well? Don't mess up our ANC. African leaders were saying. We've been associated with the ANC for many, many decades. You might think it's a South African organization, but it's an organization we in Africa own.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the entire world has got an interest in South Africa, what happens to South Africa, who governs South Africa, and looking at the African National Congress, you've got a track record right across the entire world. You've got a proven track record. And just apart from the local issues challenges that we face with looking at internationally, South Africa strategically, what does South Africa mean for the international community?
Well, I think those who are attending the conference would have heard for themselves what the international community is saying. We had a senior representative of the Palestine Liberation Organization here, senior delegate from Cuba. We had leadership from the Communist Party of China sending a special message and a message delivered physically by the ambassador of China. You had the leadership of Chama Chama Wapunduzi of Tanzania. You had the Ethiopian Prosperity Party. So that means that this international solidarity, which the ANC and many of our organizations built during the struggle against apartheid, has lived on for the decades of freedom. And I think this is why I always feel that we as South Africa have an immense responsibility to be shoulder to shoulder with the people of Palestine. Because the people of the world, in our time of need, they stood with us. And that's why, whatever platform I'm on, I make sure that it is clear that South Africa wishes that the people of Palestine must enjoy freedom, human rights, and justice.
Well, certainly, and the Palestinian delegation that was here, and I had the opportunity to engage with them earlier on in an interview, and all Palestinians from all walks of life, whether they be diplomats, whether they be intellectuals, and from all walks of life, appreciate the fact. And one country that actually stands out in supporting the Palestinian cause has been South Africa. And they look at South Africa in more ways than one. They look at our history under apartheid, the miracle of a united nation, and these are lessons that they are taking from South Africa, hoping that they could emulate what South Africa has achieved.
I certainly agree with you. I think they do look to South Africa, but I would like to give credit to the Muslim Ummah in South Africa because they have made sure that the cause of the people of Palestine remains alive. So, in addition to the leadership of the African National Congress and its broad membership, our Muslim community in South Africa is known to be steadfast in support of the just cause of the people of Palestine.
Yes, but it's also this relationship that the Muslim community has built with the African National Congress. When one
Absolutely.
looks at the Palestine solidarity organizations, and it's a relationship that they built over a period of time, and that is the reason why Palestine would even feature at a conference like this. We've seen resolutions in the past at previous conferences, and I'm sure this time around as well, as the Commission deliberates on international relations, Palestine will be on the agenda.
Oh, absolutely. It's something that came out of the policy conference. So the discussions there, the conclusions will be fed into the commission that will sit tonight. And certainly the issue of Palestine and the next steps
Yes.
is
Now,
part of the discussion.
just one or two concerns that some of the Palestine solidarity organizations and people in general have actually raised is the whole question of adopting the resolutions, adopting a policy on Palestine, but implementation, there have been one or two instances, for example, the question of visas, for instance,
Yeah.
Palestinians, applying for visas where Israel, do not have to apply for
Yeah.
visas. Now, any movement in that regard?
Indeed, there is. I've been speaking to Minister Motsoaledi, as has President Ramaphosa, and we've said we'd like this to be addressed. We believe that the people of Palestine must be treated even better than the people of Israel. And it shouldn't be that Israelis have access to South Africa, but Palestinian people struggle. So it is something we're looking at.
Yes, and just looking at South Africa standing internationally in terms of how we've positioned ourselves to the entire world, we are part of BRICS. We know recently the whole talk about the G20 as well. Looking at our relationship with the likes of the United States of America, just from an international relations perspective, how important is it for South Africa to find that balance and position itself?
Well, it's vitally important because I think the values that make up who we are as South Africans are values that we would like to share with the rest of the world. When we talk about our international policy, we say that we want a better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world. And we base our objectives on the Constitution of South Africa. That is the full enjoyment of human rights, civil freedoms, and also ensuring that we entrench equality. These are values that we share with all that we meet with in the rest of the world. So it's why, with the Americans, we would argue that the blockade against Cuba must be lifted. It's inhuman that people are denied access to medicine, to basic foodstuffs, to the ability to travel and move freely. These are values in our Bill of Rights, and they are practices that every human being deserves to enjoy. So, our international platform is to use the values in our Constitution as the bridge between ourselves and the rest of the world.
Yes, and just your expectations from this conference. What are your expectations for the African National Congress and to take the party forward?
I'm very concerned that we must revive the ANC all of us have known over many decades. I want an ANC that is ethical. I want an ANC that is concerned about ordinary people and does something about their status in life. I want an ANC with honest members and honest leaders. I want an ANC that fights corruption honestly and not in a picky way. So I have ambition that the wonderful ideals which were part of the formation of the ANC an ANC that was for a united South African nation and not for tribes. So that's the kind of ANC I want, one that respects religious freedom, one that respects women, where we will work with the men in our society to end the violence against women and children. So I want the old ANC back,
Well,
modernized but back.
exactly, and I think they say old is gold, and really that is exactly what it is. And just looking at the future of the ANC, and we know that you know. It's a time for renewal, and I've seen it over and over again, organizational renewal, but also in terms of drawing in new blood, looking at future leadership.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, the organization will have a leadership vacuum, and to fill that vacuum, Dr. Naledi Pandor.
Yeah. Well, I hope now we're going to elect some young people into the leadership structures, because they're the next generation and they should get ready and learn in order to be able to assume full leadership of the organization. And if we continue to do well in elections, which I hope we do, inshallah, also leadership of the country. So I do think there should be a generational mix, but I don't think it can be young people alone and you leave us out as the older generation. I think there must be a good mix of the two so that we walk together and we share the experiences we've had and hopefully serve as a mentor for the future.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the outcome, and obviously the voting is underway. The top 7, the NEC members as well, and inshallah, we trust and hope that all goes well for the benefit of this country, inshallah. But I must say, Jazakallah to you. We really do appreciate. I know you're tired, you're busy, you've still got long hours ahead of you, but we do appreciate you've taken time out to be with us here on Salam Media.
And I wish Salam Media well.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, Dr. Naledi Pandor with us right here live at our makeshift studios at the Johannesburg Expo Center at the 55th African National Congress conference. So we've got a lot more to come. Stay with us right here on Salam Media.